President, members, I rise today respectfully in opposition to Senate Bill 2 because, from my perspective, it does not expand real choices for Texas families. Instead, it drains public schools from critical resources, leaving rural communities, English learners, and working families in my district with fewer choices, not more. Many of us here, as I do, represent communities where the public school is the backbone of the community. In places like Presidio or Van Horn, Fort Stockton, there are no private schools there. No way to transfer to a private school down the road in those towns. These communities rely on their public schools, not just for education, but for meals, for special education services, for after-school programs, and for many, even healthcare. So if we start funneling taxpayer dollars into private schools through vouchers, we're pulling away resources from Marfa ISD and pulling from Alpine ISD and Terlingua ISD, leaving teachers with fewer resources and with less support. I don't think that's choice. This bill may negatively impact the very schools that educate vast majority of our children. And it diverts taxpayer dollars to private schools that, as we heard in today's debate, that are not required to accept all students, that are not held to the same accountability standards, and do not provide the same bilingual or special education services that our public schools are required to do. So what does that mean? That means for rural schools, which are already stretched thin, they're going to lose funding. We're forcing them to cut teachers. We're forcing increased class sizes. We're eliminating programs that give students a chance to compete. So remember, Senate Bill 2 does not do enough to support Texas English language learners. I try to add that in one of our amendments. And one of three students in my district is an English language learner. And public schools serve them. Private schools do not serve them. They do not have to serve them. So from my perspective, it's not school choice. It's the school's choice, what we're doing here. Public schools are legally required to provide bilingual education and English language support. Private schools receiving vouchers funds will have no such requirement. So that means thousands of Texas children who are working hard every single day to try to learn English are going to be left behind without the support that they need. So this bill doesn't give those English learners more choices, it gives them fewer choices. It takes away the funding that public schools rely on to hire those bilingual teachers, to provide those specialty programs that they need, and to close those achievement gaps. If we believe in choice, well, then let's make sure every child has a fair choice, a real choice, because those rural kids don't have that choice. And that means investing in schools that support every student, regardless of the language that they speak and where they live. It hurts the very schools that serve the most students, leaving those kids behind. It sends taxpayer dollars to these private schools that are not accountable to Texas families. It fails English learners, it drains rural public schools, and it makes the problem in our education system worse, not better. So, colleagues, I know we all want a strong education system. I don't doubt that, but I am concerned about diverting these tax dollars to private schools that pick and choose their students. I don't think it's the way to get there. Stripping rural schools from resources, I don't think it's the way to get there. Instead of picking winners and losers, we should make greater investments in all our students. I think we should fully fund our schools. We've got the money. We should pay the teachers what they deserve. And we should ensure that every single child, whether they live in my district or in your districts, they have real opportunity to succeed. I think that's a promise of a public education system. It's in our Constitution. And I think it's what Texans believe in. So for my rural schools, my ELL students, and the public schools that shape me, I will respectfully be voting no on Senate Bill 2. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Eckhart, for what purpose?